Hey everybody! I'm here today to tell you about 7 test driving mistakes to avoid at all costs. Now here's the thing, when you go to test drive a car, whether it's a new car, a used car, or a classic car that's like 80 years old, you're probably going to test drive it, and there are certain things that you should do. These are things that you should not do. These are mistakes that you should avoid. So please avoid these test driving mistakes. They are crucial for buying a car that you're going to be happy with in the long run. Let's get right into the video. Test driving mistake to avoid number 1 is taking a short test drive. Now here's the thing, when you test drive a car, it's like a test, okay? So obviously you're not going to be driving it for like 3-4 hours. I can understand that. But also you shouldn't only be driving it for 5 to 10 minutes. When you test drive a car, I would recommend taking it on a drive that is at least 20 minutes to half an hour or longer. That's because it's going to really give you a chance to, number 1, get a feel for the car, and number 2, spot or hear or feel for any problems with the car. This is even more true when it comes to buying a used car, because you want to spot those problems. When it comes to buying a new car, you want to get a real feel for the car because you're probably going to own this car for many, many years. So when you test drive it, you really want to make sure that you're taking a nice and lengthy test drive. So don't take a short test drive. That is a definite mistake. Mistake number 2 to avoid is not opening it up. And by opening it up, I'm not talking about opening the door and opening the hood and opening the trunk. I'm talking about opening it up, giving it some gas, okay? Number 1, when you give the car some gas, when you push that accelerator pedal down, when you floor it, you're gonna get a feel for the maximum power. So number 1, you're gonna feel how much power you'll get maximum when you floor the gas pedal, okay? And number 2, you're gonna really hear how that engine sounds and that exhaust sounds. You want to know those 2 things. Whether you are a car person or not, whether you love cars or hate them, if you have to overtake a car, if you're passing another car, you need that power. So you got to know how much power you have. If you're making a left turn through an intersection and you misjudged and all of a sudden there's a car coming at you really quickly, really closely, you need that power to get you out of that dangerous situation. So you got to floor that gas pedal. You have to, okay? Not for like 5 minutes, but floor it once just to get a feel for it. It's literally as simple as that, okay? Mistake number 3 to avoid is not testing the handling of the car. Now, just like I said with flooring the gas pedal, with opening it up, you got to test the handling of the car. You have to know how quickly you can take a turn. You have to know how it's going to respond when you're turning right or turning left at 20 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, whatever the case is. So test the handling. I'm not saying to rip a turn and make the person in the passenger seat fly around and just cause a lot of wear and tear on the tires. I'm just talking about test out the handling. Take turns at different speeds. Get a feel for how it responds to the steering wheel turning, okay? Mistake number 4, not adjusting the driver's position. By driver's position, I mean the mirrors, the steering wheel, the pedals, which on some cars can be adjusted, the seat, the center console, armrest, whatever the case is, the dashboard, whatever you can adjust and move, you want to adjust it to make sure that it is completely up to where you need it to be. And it's literally as simple as that. Now, when you're test driving the car, okay, when you're test driving the car, if you don't adjust it, you're not going to get a true feel for how it actually responds and how it feels. So you want to make sure that you are adjusting your driver's position as much as you can. So literally get the seat, the steering wheel, the whatever you can adjust, and make it completely suited towards yourself. How you would regularly position yourself, that's how you want to position yourself when you're actually driving the car, okay? Number 5, mistake number 5 is only touching a few of the buttons, okay? So a lot of people, when they go and test drive a car, they'll only touch a few buttons. They'll touch the radio, the climate control, and that's it. You want to literally touch all of the buttons in the car. This is especially true when you're buying a used car, simply because you want to make sure, number 1, that everything works, and number 2, you want to see how all of the features respond and what they do to the car. So touch all of the buttons in the car, literally every button, touch it, see what it does, and if you don't know, ask the person who's selling the car, whether it's a salesperson or the private seller. You want to ask them just so you can really make sure that everything works and you know what everything does. Test driving mistake number 6 to avoid at all costs is not fully inspecting the car. Now, this is true for both a new car and a used car. Most people will only inspect a car when they're buying a used car. They'll bring it to a mechanic, they'll look at it themselves, but when they buy a new car, they just take the keys and drive it off the lot, assuming that everything's okay. You want to thoroughly inspect the car. Whether the car is used or new, you want to take at least, I would say, 15 to 30 minutes to do a thorough inspection of everything. Touch everything, open and close everything, check everything in the car, make sure that everything works, see how everything works, inspect every square inch of that car. Now, you don't have to go like with a magnifying glass, but you want to really inspect the car until you feel comfortable. When you're at the point where you feel like you've checked everything over, that's when you can sort of take the car and actually buy it or consider buying it, okay? Last but not least is test driving mistake number 7, which is letting the salesperson, whether it's a car salesperson or a private seller, dictate the test drive. Now, obviously, you have to follow the legal requirements and you got to stay, let's say, on the test drive route. But what you don't want to do is you absolutely don't want to let them say that you can't do something. Like if you say, okay, I'm just going to floor it for a second, and they say no, well, okay, I understand they might be scared, but don't buy that car. Consider a different car. It's as simple as that, okay? You need to test drive the car. Within reason, you want to try as many things as you possibly can with that car. Within reason. Now, don't let it go at the expense of safety. You don't want to put anyone in an unsafe position, but within the rules of safety and legality, you want to really, do whatever you can with that car. And that's basically it. Those are 7 test driving mistakes to avoid at all costs. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.